Good morning and
Good morning.
welcome to Today in L.A. Mike Amos along with
Virginia Green Nowling.
Virginia Green Nowling.
That's right.
And, of course, a good friend of mine, and she's on our show today. And
I'm
hope
happy to be
everybody's
here.
looking
Thank you
forward
for
to a
having
big
me.
week. And, of course, everybody's heading for a big weekend. And a lot of folks out at Pike LeBlanc are excited. They won the right to play for the state championship next week by beating Tuscaloosa Academy 6-0 on a brilliant display of pitching by a young man that is going to be about as good as he wants to be one day, and we'll be talking more about that as our show goes on because of a huge win in Tuscaloosa yesterday. And how things going with you? Yeah, you got your Patriot signs up. I like that. Now that's unique,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Taylor Cox Genwright
Yeah,
let me borrow these. You know, I'm a Charles Henderson graduate, but
That's
I was so
right.
excited for any of our
yeah,
teams here in
exactly.
Troy, and so we have these
And
to
that team
celebrate.
represented
I guess it's
Troy
a
so
fan.
well. You know, and of course,
Congratulations to Pike Live.
no question about it. And Coach, you know, the coaches and the players and the families, you know, went through a tough 3-game series, and they split the first night, and then they came back yesterday and won the right to play for the championship against Glenwood of Phoenix City.
That's great.
That game will be played Wednesday morning, I want to say, at 10 o'clock from Patterson Field in Montgomery.
Oh,
And,
I'd love to be there.
well, don't you know, it's an excited bunch of kids at Pike because they'll probably let school out, don't you think?
Oh, I would think so.
Of course, we have got a lot going on this weekend, and of course the weather looks conducive for a wonderful outdoor gathering. And of course, you know, if you're out there picnicking, you were telling me what a great meal you had with the chamber banquet.
Yes, on the chamber banquet this week. It was catered by the Pig Cafe, I believe. I saw Yanni and Denise there.
Exactly.
And, they had some of the best roast beef and mashed potatoes and gravy that I've had in a long time.
And the desserts are always good. It's just a
dessert
great place
was
to eat, no
delicious.
question about it.
Yeah, and I mean, it was at the Cattlemen's Association, so it was a packed house because the governor spoke that day, and so they did a wonderful job.
Boy, that's loud enough today, isn't it? Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning, and tell you what, a little
Hey,
chill
Mike.
in the air down here, Mike. How about up there?
Oh, it's too cold. It's like 62.
Did you feel
maybe
sort of
something
chilly
like that.
this
Wasn't that
morning?
bad?
I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, very
too bad.
conducive for outdoor activity, and
How are you feeling? You worn out from your drive back?
well, it was a long ways. You know, I stopped by and visited with an old friend of mine, Rusty Gibson, who is a attorney in Tuscaloosa. Been up there for years, ever since his college days, and married a girl from up there, and have a beautiful home right on the Indian Springs Country Club. It's really a great place to live.
Yeah, you've been.
Of course, he's a neighbor of yours. You know, you're on down the road.
Right. Well, now Brett, you say Brett is his brother?
That's right. Brett is
And
his
we
brother.
used to take Brett to school. My
Oh.
dad was driving, so we'd stop and pick up Brett,
Yeah.
Janet Moats,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and head to school.
And your daddy took you to school every day. Is that right?
Well, he did a lot of times.
Until you girls started
That's
driving.
right.
Yeah. Ginger's on our show today, Mike.
Hey,
How
Mike.
you doing?
And of course, Michael's in Birmingham. And what's going on?
Well, I mean, I guess you're the one that knows what's going on. You did the Pike Live games the last 2 days, so they're headed to the state championship game, aren't they?
Yeah, and of course, the Goshen Eagles are, they're still in it. Is that right? In the softball, and Coach is here with us today, and we'll be talking about Goshen athletics also today.
Your favorite team, the Atlanta Braves, are in first place so far.
I know it. That really surprised me.
So a lot going on. Of course, spring practices have started for a lot of high schools across the state. I've been busy sending mouthpieces and knee pads and girdles and helmets to schools throughout the state. So,
oh yeah,
it's like football season's already here. I guess
exactly.
you go through spring training, and then after that, you kind of just start getting ready for the season.
It never ends.
You're exactly right, and of course, everybody's excited out at Pike Liberal Arts. Drew Nelson, the 8th grader, pitching at a high format, going up against a good team from Tuscaloosa Academy. Well, all he did was shut him out on 2 hits, and then Nate Renfro came in the last inning and struck out 2 out of 3 batters, and the rest is history as Pike Liberal Arts heads to the state championships next week.
So they'll play at Patterson, or they play at?
They'll play at Patterson. They play at Patterson Field in Montgomery.
What was the situation with the mound? Y'all kept talking about how high the pitcher's
that mound was. Did you watch any of it? The mound, the guy claimed that it was 2 inches shorter than it was supposed to be. He said but I told him, I said it's the tallest mound I've ever seen, and but it didn't seem like it affected Drew Nelson because he was just outstanding. And, Coach Bart Snyder, we're fixing to bring him in here in a minute, and of course the head coach and athletic director at Goshen High School, and we're going to talk a little ball this morning, and the headlines reads, the Patriots earned title berth after a win over Tuscaloosa. Well, they tell you one easy. They lost the first game on Wednesday, and 5-1, and the Tuscaloosa pitcher had a no-hitter going into the last inning, and then Pike got 4 straight hits. But in that second game, which was really, really something, and we did the games live on Facebook and YouTube. We had over 1,700 people that watched the game at one time or another.
That was really convenient. And
what a great game it was! 4-4 tie going into the 2 extra innings, and in the 9th inning, Wood Genwright knocked in the winning run as Pike was able to advance to the championship yesterday, and that game started at 4 o'clock, and Pike Liberal Arts did not look back, throwing a 8th grader in Drew Nelson.
That's amazing.
Won the game 6-0.
That's amazing.
And now they'll move on to play for the state championship against Glenwood Academy of Phoenix City, and it should be quite a ball game. That game will be played in Montgomery at Patterson Field, so we'll be staying on the top of all of that.
You have to have some sort of poise to be an 8th grader to pitch in a game,
it's just
amazing.
Like it's just amazing, and Coach Snyder has seen a lot of ball in his day, and very rarely do you ever see a 14-year-old go up against a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds and win.
Mm-hmm.
But that happened for Pike Liberal Arts in that series, 2 games out of 3, and now they're heading to Montgomery to play for the championship next Wednesday morning. I think at 10 o'clock when they play. We're gonna take a short.
Troy will be heading. Troy University, which is playing great baseball, will be heading to Georgia Southern Statesboro this weekend for a big 3-game series.
Yeah, I noticed that they've already gone, so that's going to be a big 3-game series, and of course,
Troy's got to probably get to close to 40 wins to make it to the NCAA regionals, which would be a great accomplishment. It'd be the first time Coach Smart has had a team in the NCAA tournament, so hopefully they'll finish up strong.
Of course, it's going to be a good one. You and I saw the match this morning,
we do.
girl.
We just
and of course we're
did that last week too.
looking forward to talking to Bart Snyder after these messages. What?
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats, so we got barbecue champion Big Mo Quezon to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Back to our show, and of course, good to have Virginia Green Nowling on our set today. Joining us right now is my very good friend, Bart Snyder. And
Mr. Mike.
ladies and gentlemen, a lot going on in sports, especially down the tail end of the season. In fact, you've got a big softball tournament coming up, and of course, you're the head football coach and athletic director. Tell us about Goshen Athletics.
Well, it's great. Coach Lane, Mr. May have done a great job out there, allowing us to branch out, and we've got a lot of things going on, from swimming to volleyball, which had an outstanding season. Runner-up in the state, to track, cross country, to soccer. So we have, I think there's 10, 11 different sports that we're in out of the Little Beach 2A school out there at Goshen. And then
and you're having a lot of fun, aren't you?
We are. It is a lot of fun, and you're busy. You're real busy when you do stuff like that. But our girls softball play next Thursday out here at the Sportsplex.
Now, how many teams will be there?
I'm not exactly sure. I think there's 4 from each group.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this now. We're talking about 4 from each group, and we're talking about 7 different classifications.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about at least 4 teams. You're looking at about 40 or 45 teams coming to Troy, Alabama now.
Right.
And they're not only, all right, and let's say 20 members of each team, all right? 45 teams, 20 members of each team. Then they bring their mama and their daddy, their grandmama and their granddaddy, the brother and the sister, and the best friends. We're talking about a 5,000 plus convention going on. Is that right?
That is right. Mr. Dan and them do a great job out there too.
But isn't it wonderful that we've got the kind of facility that can house something like that?
That is so. It is great.
But I think Troy University has to help out. And see, school will be out. It works out perfect. School will actually be out to be able to use the dorms.
I'm not sure how that works on that now. That might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Troy University's already out.
Yeah, oh yeah, they start. They have. I reckon they graduate when, tomorrow or the next week.
Next week.
Next week. Graduate next week.
I think some of them I think still have a couple of finals.
Yeah, that's right.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you know, most of school is out the early part of next week, and then you know, and then the graduation's on that Friday. But your tournament starts when?
Thursday, I think, is when it starts.
Next Thursday.
Yes,
so and very easily they could probably use some of those facilities, which would be great.
It would be, yes, sir.
Because we need more hotels, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
And you know, hopefully we'll get them. Of course, Goshen's always in the middle of competing with some of the best teams in the state. And it all starts with a pretty good softball coach.
It does. Coach Ward, well, she's all-around coach. I mean, she did the same thing in volleyball, so she does a great job and expects a lot out of her girls, and that carries over to the male sports. You know, we don't.
That little red-headed girl still playing softball?
Yeah, she's still out there. She's got one more year. Kate
after this?
Yes, sir. She's just a junior. Matter of fact, Coach Ward's team is all juniors.
Isn't that something?
Not a senior on the team this year.
That is something. I've got something here, I think. I hope. I thought it was the cutest. No, I don't have it. I thought I did. I was going to show you a picture of her in this year's or spring brochure for athletics, you know, that came out in the Messenger. And I thought that was one of the best pictures.
It was a good one.
And you know, she's been one of my favorite players for a long time. And
how's that work as far as in the softball tournament? Is that double elimination? Or if you lose, you're done?
No, it's a double elimination.
Which makes them stay here and spend more money. You know, they got to have hotel rooms, they got to have restaurants, they got to have gasoline, they've got to go to the pharmacist, they've got to go shop. Hey, they got, you know, pretty big convention, wouldn't you say?
It is, yes, sir.
5,000 plus at least people will be coming in Troy.
To make that money. They're going to know how to do that. Alabama High School.
I'll give a plug to Tinker's gas station. Last time I went to the beach, I stopped there and got some really good boiled peanuts. So if you want boiled peanuts, you can go there.
I think most of those come out of Henderson, Alabama, down there.
Yeah. And you know, good boiled peanuts is just like what I did yesterday. Before the game yesterday, I had plenty of time, so I went over to the original Dreamland.
Oh, yes, sir.
You know, where the old shack, you know, the old shack up on top of the hill, and I went in there. There were a lot of folks in there, and first thing they did, they brought me out some light bread.
Yes, sir.
Get some regular old light bread, and some barbecue sauce to dip in, and then I got some ribs, and they were just outstanding. And then their tea, and their sweet tea is so good, you know.
Is. Yes, sir.
You know, and just a great place to eat. And of course, we're lucky to have Hook's Barbecue right here in Troy.
Aren't they good?
Their ribs are just so outstanding.
They're so good.
And so we're very fortunate, but. I just wanted y'all to know that I chowed down yesterday.
We can talk about this while Mike Phelps is not here.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mike Phelps has been, coming on our show and talking about nutrition.
Healthy food.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so forth. But
how many kids will y'all graduate at Goshen in the next few weeks? Didn't y'all have a real big senior class?
Yeah, we did. You know, that group has done a real good job. I think there were 16 of them in all. Ended up signing 10 of the 16 in football. Coach Warwick had one of our volleyball players to sign. Got a couple of basketball players that's we're waiting to hear from, as well as a couple of baseball players that may have an opportunity to play at the next level. So, you know, we're very excited about what these young men and women have done out our way, and you know, they're going to definitely leave a little legacy.
I tell you what, you're right now also in the middle of spring practice, so everybody's busy. Now, are you going to play any kind of jamboree or any kind of spring game?
We're playing out here with Coach McCoy.
Oh, great, yeah.
The Troy Cable game. We'll play Thursday at 3 o'clock out at the university.
Wonderful.
Play Pleasant home. Coach Mercer's really turning that program around.
Yeah, sure.
There's some big old boys down there south of Andalusia.
They got a big old girl that plays basketball for them, too. How big is she?
She's big. She's real
She's
big.
bigger than the kid at Charles Henson, isn't she?
She's
6'5"?
Yes, or 6 something. She's tall. She's 6'7". she's tall.
And you know what? You get a girl like
Good
that,
for
you can
her.
build a basketball program, can't you?
Right.
No question about it.
She is a big girl.
Well, you're right in the middle of spring practice, and Mike and I were talking, and of course, he's in sporting goods, and everybody's needing equipment and needing to make their orders, and it's a lot that goes into it.
Yes, sir, it is.
You got a budget, and you start ordering your equipment, and you start, as an athletic director, start putting together not only the football, but the basketball and baseball programs for next year.
Right, and that's something we do as soon as the sport gets done. You start working on it right then, because you have to be ready and have to communicate with so many different people. That when you're a small school like we are, and the budget's as small as we have to.
Well, it was one of the great years in Goshen High School history, and of course you lost some good players, and a lot of them, like you said, have signed to play college football, which is phenomenal. The big tight end, where is he going?
Well, he is. There's two now. The defensive end is going to Western Kentucky.
Yeah,
That's
big kid, yeah.
Big kid, and then Ian Hinkle is going to Southeastern down in Lakeland,
I got
Florida.
you.
Yes, sir. And we expect good things out of both of them.
Yeah.
We have two kids that are going to prep school down in Mobile. We're excited about that and what they're doing. Have the little Passmore kid, number 22, that's going to Alabama A&M.
Boy, he'll make some things happen.
Yes, sir. And then have Hamlin that's going to West Florida, and then we have the 4 kids that are going to Faulkner.
Yeah, which is phenomenal.
Well, that's West Florida play for the national championship, and they've only been a program for 3 years. It's pretty amazing what they're doing down there.
It is very amazing. I talked to their coach whenever they were getting started a few years ago, and he said that that's what they would do. He's very confident and not arrogant. He's just confident. He said, "This is what we do. We'll build a program." And Pensacola and the state of Florida is going to make the investments to make that program. They don't have a football program in the Panhandle.
Yeah,
and
that's
now
right.
they do.
They do. You're right.
And it's beautiful.
They don't have to go very far for recruits, do they?
No, they got players down there. You're right, all over the place. No question about it.
And their facilities, according to Hamlin, I haven't been down since a year ago. I didn't get to make it down this summer, but he said, "Coach, it's unreal what they have." He said their training facilities are one of the best in the nation, and they get to play on the Wahoo Stadium.
Oh yeah,
down there on the bay, and that's where the minor league program
that's right.
for Cincinnati Reds.
It's a beautiful park.
Wow.
It really is beautiful, right? And of course, you look out over outside the stadium, the ocean,
and then
your favorite golfer, Bubba Watson, owns some of that minor league team.
Right.
Does he? I didn't know that.
And I like watching that TV show Tanked. Where they build these big aquariums, fish aquariums, where they actually have one of those aquariums there at Wahoo Stadium.
I didn't know that. That is great.
It's pretty neat. They have a lot of stuff going on in the Pensacola area. So
now Shane Watson gets the Faulkner job. He hires his brother Tommy, who is maybe, you know what? If it wasn't for Mike Turk, he would have been a household word in football. I mean, because he's the backup quarterback to the great Mike Turk, and they won 2 national championships. But he is a fine coach and been coaching a long time. Now he's going to join his brother Shane in Montgomery at Faulkner. I have become a Faulkner fan.
I'll tell you what.
Because he goes and signs 4 kids from Goshen. One of them's your boy.
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
I'm excited about what they're doing myself, because there's a possibility of a kid or 2 from Pike County going. So they're hunting local kids. Yeah. And they
that's
feel
who puts fannies in the stands.
That's right. And that's exciting. And you have to have academics to be able to get there as well.
Of course, starting with your son, tell us who have signed with Faulkner.
Zach Alford.
And boy, what a player. Man, what a player.
They made a steal on that one there. He was actually going to do a preferred walk-on at Alabama State. And he come to me one day and says, "Coach, how does that work? Because I'd like to be at Faulkner with the others if they could get me in there." So I called and talked to Alabama State, and they said that would be okay, that they clearly understood. And so he decided to leave the division.
So he wanted, because he did not sign a national letter of intent.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. Then Dakari Siler, which I think is another sleeper.
Is he the linebacker?
He's he plays defensive line for us.
Yeah.
He played on the offensive line, but now it's great it seems. We have so many skilled people that he's probably one of the faster people on the team.
Yeah.
But he just was. He helped us better there. He made the sacrifices to do that. And then Xavier Rogers,
yes,
played
sir.
receiver for us, had a great year.
Big kid too, isn't he?
No, sir. He's a small
okay,
kid.
all right,
He's very fast. He's got great hands, and really fits into what they run there at Faulkner.
Yeah.
So.
Now Zach, they'll probably use him as a wide receiver, but he'll be sort of a slot guy too, won't he?
I'm sure, yes, sir. They were excited whenever we made mention that he was interested in.
You know, they're football players that work hard and develop skills, but this kid was born to play the game. He has the instincts of a great player, Zach Offer does.
He does. He can really make some things happen. He's exciting to watch and definitely going to be missed out our way.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing about it is you're so close to Montgomery, so you can go and go to every game.
That's correct. You know, and the great thing is around Troy, we've had a lot of people to come up and say, "And this is great." You know, we've never been to Faulkner to see a ball game.
Yeah.
But we're going. We're looking at.
Well, you know, I can see you going to see a Faulkner game and then turn around and riding back home and see a Troy game.
That's
you
right.
know, it could work like that too.
It's amazing what can happen when you get local people.
Well, I tell you what,
I got a lot of friends over the years that gone to law school there.
Yeah.
It's a big, you're right. That's right. You're one of the alumnus, aren't you?
That's right. That's right. It's a great school.
I tell you what, it is a great school, and you know.
Of course, Kenny Harris Tire gave a little bit of money though.
Kenny Harris is one of the founding fathers of that great school. Kenny Harris is, like you said, he is a great contributor to that school. And well, I tell you what.
With Faulkner, are they Division III like Huntington? Are they NAIA? I don't know.
They're
I'm
NAIA.
not sure. What are they?
NAIA. They're in the same league with. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, they're in the same league with Southeastern. So we're
Birmingham Southern and some of those too. Are they?
Birmingham Southern's in Division III.
Okay, like it's Huntington Division III.
Yes.
Will they play each other?
No, sir. No, sir. It's a NAIA school.
You know, best friends going against each other.
They're going at it recruiting. I'm telling you.
Because I tell you what, I've known a lot of people in the sports world, but none that I like any more than Shane Watson.
I'm telling you,
he's one of the great people in America, one of the great young coaches. I mean, I knew when he left Troy that, hey, he was going to be back somewhere, you know.
You got him and Tommy and Coach Turk there at Huntington, and those are three great
best friends.
Guys. I mean, good friends, like you said. So,
yeah.
You know, Montgomery's done a great job in getting some good.
Of course, their dad, Bobby Watson, was a great coach and great person, and you know, it all started in Georgiana, Alabama. If you think about it, that's where they came from, and Bobby, I think, later on played at Greenville High School and made All-American at Auburn. And but it's just great to see these kids get a shot. And of course, Brock, your son, is 6'5". Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let Mike. I don't know if you saw him play, but the thing that I've noticed about him, of course, he's got a great arm.
Right.
But it's his quick feet. He has good, quick feet, so he can run the option too. So his speed is deceiving, isn't it?
It is, yes, sir. And you know,
I mean, he gets up the field pretty quick, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. And he you know, he's done a great job of learning. There's a lot of coaches like the fact that he doesn't make many of the same mistakes, and that's a good thing. But he had a lot of great people to work with. A lot of great athletes out there that work extremely hard.
Well, you have built a heck of a program, and this is, you know, I can remember Bob Booth having that undefeated season, or I think he lost one game, you know, that year. But it was a great program with some good players. But I think last year's team's about as good as Goshen's ever put on the field.
I think so too. You know, and it's hard to judge one team over the other because you never know just the chemistry there, but then the teams that you play as well, but I think overall that group proved themselves that for the history of Goshen that they're one of the best.
And the schedule might have been as tough as it's ever been. I mean, you play Brandley, you play Elba, you play New Brockton. I mean, you played some good. Ayrton
had one loss.
Oh yeah,
one loss season as well as we
exactly.
And the only loss.
And then Lou Byrne was really playing.
Yeah,
Lou Byrne got better. I mean,
really 2A football in our area might be the best in the state.
I would think so.
Without
when
a
you look
question.
at the team that won it, Lynette, great day at the college athletes that were on it. I mean,
I know exactly.
6'4".
I know.
I mean, it's Coach Story up there has done a good job. I mean,
and somebody told me they dropped a 1A. Is that right? I mean, Elba and Lynette are 1A.
St. Luke's.
And St. Luke, yeah. That running back for St. Luke's.
Oh my goodness. He ain't seen quickness
yeah.
to see him.
And then the kid at Leroy will be back too, won't he?
Yes, sir.
So I tell you what.
I was talking to Coach Coggins at Highland Home. They're making the move up to 2A. We all.
They are, and we're excited about that. That's a good rivalry.
And they're going to get. They're getting better.
They're good. He's done a great job with them up
there.
Does a good job. Got some good coaches and great athletes.
Yeah, exactly right.
Got those Phillips twins that are good in baseball.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, they're good at it.
Well, I tell you what, it's an exciting time.
How's that going to work for you as far as quarterback? Your son's been the quarterback for a long time. Who's going to step in at quarterback for you guys?
Brian Galloway has been doing a lot of work at it. We one of the philosophies that we have out there is we try to get people playing time. There's nothing like experience, and so we do a lot of rotation, making sure people get in the game to feel comfortable whenever their time comes, and hope that. I think he'll be fine with it. He's a competitor, I can tell you that.
That's good.
Well, let me just say this, and this is something I say almost every year. I go down and interview the Goshen team. Is numbers. I mean, you're making it fun because these are country boys now. These are guys that got to slop the hogs before they come to school and feed the chickens.
That's the best kind.
And feed the cows and whatever before they even come to school. And you're making it fun because most all of them play football.
And we have to, because in today's time, I mean, it's a job. After the St. Luke's game was kind of funny because we were behind pretty much the entire game until the last few minutes of the game. That's a little over a minute of the game, and the AL.com guy that was there left with 3 minutes to go in the game to go do his story. And he had to come back, and at the end, the guys were having a little fun time. They were laughing, joking, and enjoying the moment. I mean, you just probably had one of the greatest comebacks in the history of
that's
good
high
football. I mean, you're down 21 points
against a very good team, yeah.
And in the last few minutes of the game, you score the 2 touchdowns to and stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, and 2 of the best athletes in 2A football on St. Luke's team, and to stop them. And he asked me, he says, Coach, y'all are laughing and having fun. He says, that's something you always do. And I'm like, well, Coach, I said, sir, I said, it's not easy what we do. I said, first of all, they just come back from being down 21 points 4 different times. I said, and then the week that we put in at work for practice and fun. So I said, they've got to have some fun sometime.
That's right.
And take the stress off of it. Plus, we're fixing to have to ride from South Baldwin County.
That's right, all the way home.
Home, I said, and that's not a short ride right there. And I said, I want them to enjoy it. If they're not enjoying it, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be where.
I tell you what, I'd love to take that film, sometime if you let us have it, and run it on Troy Cable. That's one of the great games. That's one of the great games in the century.
It is, and it actually was one of the top 5 teams in the games in the state this year.
So of course, I know you've been proud of all these things, and of course now you're right. Brock's been there for you on the playing field and at the kitchen table, and now it's going to be a little different.
Stephanie reminds me of that every day. I come in from football practice, and I'm glad she's not watching this. But come in from football practice, I hope she's not watching this.
You'd be surprised.
Brock was born. and someone had brought by a little present, and she was upset. She was crying, and I'm like, "What is wrong?" And she says, "He'll be graduating high school." I said, "If I just got him home, it'll be all right. Come on, knock that off."
You know
Come
how.
in, and she says, "Okay, he's gonna be graduating in just a little bit." That time went by fast. And
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for you, those of you that don't know who we're talking about, Stephanie Dykema Snyder was a two-time state champion in cheerleading, wasn't she, at Charles Henderson High School?
Trust me, she reminds us.
I mean, she was an All-American herself, wasn't she?
That's right, yes, sir.
And of course,
So that's where all the athletic ability comes from?
100%. 100%.
But of course, it is exciting times. This big jamboree coming up is going to be really something, and you're going to play on Thursday next week.
Sir. Thursday at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
So, have y'all played in Veterans Stadium before?
Yes, sir. We played in it last year. Played Reeltown last year.
What's your opinion on field turf?
I wish we had it out of Goshen, if you don't know the truth. There's so much upkeep with the grass, and now that we have soccer, then you turn right back around in January and you're doing soccer on it. It's not a problem, but I mean, it does take a lot of work. So if I could get turf on our at Goshen, I would love to have it because of the and track, because we do run sometimes out there on it as well. And we don't have a track, but it would be great to have. It's hot. I will say that.
In the summers it is really hot.
But now even what Troy's got, I think now that they've got some a little bit better than what it is. So they keep perfecting what they have there, and I think it was good. You know, we're excited to be able to play on it.
Well, you've been all right.
So this is a big question. Will y'all have instant replay at Goshen High School this year?
Well, we're looking at it. It's something that we're open to. It would be nice to have. Anytime that we're able to look at the film, why shouldn't the officials be able to use that technology to help themselves on something that they might need? Because we're all human, and they do a great job. But I wouldn't want their job. I have to put up with people like me. I wouldn't want it, and then the fact that everybody, has their opinion about it, but then you have a split second to make a decision, and that's a tough thing to do in a book full of rules. Yeah. And you could have a penalty to be called on any play.
Well, I'll tell you.
So it'll be more like the NFL. We all have like a challenge flag, like one in the first half, one in the second half.
You have two that you can use in the game, and as long as you're right, you keep your timeout and you keep your flag. Yeah. So it's a lot like that is used there. And DV Sports is the one that'll be doing it, and they have the Sun Belt, they have the Southeastern Conference. And I think that was one of the reasons that it went that direction, is because of the championship games played at Auburn and Alabama. Already have that program set up, so it definitely will be used in the championship programs there.
Are these actually separate officials that are making this call?
No, sir. It's the officials on the field. What'll happen is we'll have a little your same game cameras that you have, and then you can have multiple game cameras if that's what you want to do, if you can afford that, and then you're able to have it comes down a wire to the field, so you can rewind it, and you'll have an iPad or something like that the official can go back and look at the play, and it, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. That's because we don't have the technology that the universities have.
Now, do you have the targeting rule?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, sometimes I think that needs to be looked at a lot closer, and with that replay, you could see it because you don't see the whole play. It's just, and how can you make judgment by kicking a kid out of the ball game and you don't see the whole play?
I had an opportunity back during the fall to meet and talk with an SEC official, and got to learn a lot. And you see a lot of flags that are thrown there. he said the reason we do it is, and then thing you don't throw some flags. He said you got instant replay.
Yeah.
He said you don't blow the whistle or anything. You can drop your flag, go back, review it, and get it right. And that's a good thing, you know. And he said that's always good. And he actually let me know at that time that was a possibility that we were going to get it.
I mean, Troy has a player, a good player, that got a targeting rule in the bowl game and is going to sit out the first half of the Boise game. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, Zoe Bridges, like 2 minutes left to go in the game, got targeting.
But you know that if the Seattle Seahawks, they teach rugby tackling and to protect the head.
Yeah.
And they have fewer concussions than anyone else.
And that's grabbing them with the arms and throwing them down. Is that right?
You instead of, we've always have taught that you place your head in front of the runner.
Yeah.
And they teach it goes behind.
Yeah.
And you take and we call it a gator roll because that's kind of what it looks.
Yeah.
And you go in and you roll, you wrap around, and they don't miss as many tackles. They don't have injuries. And you know, you just have to change.
Yeah.
And if you want to protect what we're doing, and I think football is a great game. It teaches so much. I mean, it teaches you because you fail just about every play.
Yeah.
Because every offensive play is designed to score. Every defensive play is designed to stop the team from scoring. So
you know, we got a Goshen helmet sitting here. I'd like to hold it.
I sell a lot of tackling wheels.
Yes.
That helps out a lot as well as far as
exactly right.
proper tackling technique.
And of course, who do you represent, Mike?
Well, I mean, I sell Fisher tackling wheels.
Oh, okay. Well, you're sporting goods.
Oh yeah, Wagner's Team Sports.
Yeah, and of course that's out of Tuscaloosa, big outfit. You know, back to equipment and so forth. The helmet now is so big and so heavy with a steel face mask. Back when I played, we had a light Rydell helmet with a plastic face mask, and you know, it wasn't so damaging. I mean, these helmets now are.
Actually, and Mike might he might agree or correct on it, but actually, I think our helmets are lighter, and the technology on them has perfected a lot to prevent a lot of the injuries. And
well, they're not lighter. I mean, what I'm saying though, but when you got those steel face masks, they're not lighter because of this. I don't think.
Now, what's the new helmet that is coming out?
Well, we sell the F7. That's the new one. It's about a $500 helmet.
$500 helmet.
But now there's a company. Is it Vision or?
There's a company that works for Rydell that's selling. The guy was in Montgomery the other day. I can't remember his name.
But now that's a pretty amazing.
They also have the thing where you can also hook up the helmet like far as head trauma, like colleges have that for as
but this
impacts and stuff like that, as far as concussions and all that.
It's a lot like what has gone into cars and stuff, to where it absorbs, and you can sit there and they show it. It takes it, and it has it's amazing that there was a doctor that a neurosurgeon that actually come up with a study of this. He talked to different people, and his kid was going to play. He didn't want his kid to play football, but after he got there and got to studying, there's more head injuries in other sports than what is in football. You know, we do.
There's actually more head injuries in soccer.
Yeah, in soccer,
but
no question about it. Now,
helmets.
I'll say this: the helmets are so much nicer. Even when I played, and I graduated in '94. I mean, the padding, the cushion, the feel. I mean, they're doing all they can to try to prevent head injuries.
And the study of the game and the study how to do it, like I was mentioning with what Pete Carroll and the Seahawks have done in teaching a new form of tackling. There's so many different ways of doing it that you don't have to use your head, and you can be just as successful.
Right. You know, they don't even do neck bridges anymore, do they? You know, you remember when everybody used to do neck bridges and they turn it over, you know, and that thing. They don't need a neck bridge. You know why they don't need it? Because the helmet weighs so much, it's going to develop the neck. I mean, what I'm saying, you're going to develop the neck just by wearing the helmet. Don't you agree?
Frank Sadler, your coach, taught you to lead with your head, didn't he, Dad?
Oh, gosh. If those steel face masks had been around with the way they taught helmets back in the old days, was heads-up helmet, we'd have people's the chest would be caving in on them.
You know, one of the things that they say is that like with rugby, is you don't have a helmet.
That's right. You don't.
So therefore, you're not going to put your head in there. A lot of times, a lot of studies show that the helmet is part of the reason that you feel so safe that you can lead with it. You don't think that
exactly
you
right.
don't have it. So.
And I remember growing up playing football in the front yard without a helmet, and of course every now and then our heads knocked. But we played pretty hard, but we didn't hit with our head.
You didn't lead with your head.
But then things have changed and so forth. But
what is the concussion protocol as far as you guys? I mean, if a kid has a concussion, he has to be, I guess, cleared by the doctors.
That is correct.
Usually, like something within 3 or 4 days, or sometimes a week. How long does that last?
It just depends. There's a test, and I'm glad I don't have to take it today because I've sat in on some of them, and I probably wouldn't even get to go to school, go to work, because it's pretty extensive test right there. You have to repeat the alphabet backwards, the months backwards. I mean, and they'll ask you a lot of different questions, and you have to pass that test, and it's a good thing. I mean, because you want to make sure that your kids are safe, and it's not worth it. It's not worth the win to lose a child and to have some kind of injury for the rest of their life just because of a game that we enjoy to play. It's not worth it.
No question about it. And like you said, we always thought that you had to hit them straight up and hit them with a head right in the chest and all that. But the object of the game is to tackle the ball carrier.
Right.
Not necessarily to knock his head off, but tackle him and make him hit the ground. They blow the whistle and whatever. Isn't that right?
But we as humans always want to see that. You look back to the study of time, I mean, from the Roman gladiators,
that's right.
Those people, I mean, we want to see that kind of stuff, and that's in America. That's what makes this game so
exactly.
big, is they want to see that. But you can still have it and not injure your head.
And they used to have a drill where, what is it, Mike? Where the guy would be on his knees and the guy would be in front of him.
6-point explosion.
Now, hey, that right there was the craziest thing ever in football, and I mean, it's like suicide. I mean, you're sitting there and you let the guy just run right through you. You don't have any protection.
Oh, my goodness.
And thank goodness most people have stopped doing that, I hope.
Well, there's a lot of drills, bull in the ring.
Yeah, bull in the ring,
and things like that. They found out you don't have to do those things.
Well, I will give you.
You don't remember when we were in high school, Dad, and Coach Sanders had that door? We had the door drill.
Right.
Oh, man, crazy.
So basically, you would run the ball. And the tackler, you wouldn't know which side of the door he was going to be running from. And you're talking about a collision up close.
Oh gosh! But and of course, people have finally wised up to some of that, and rightfully so.
Is staying healthy. At our level, you play Ironman ball, and the key to it is being healthy in the end. Mm-hmm. And if you can stay healthy and win, you got a chance. And
how many kids did y'all have play both ways last year?
We had several because we play a lot of people. Now that's one of the things that we did. We rotate out a lot of people, so everybody's playing. We had very few that didn't play both ways. Brock was one that didn't a lot, but he did play. If we needed him to play in certain games, we'd put him in at safety or somewhere. But we try to rotate people to first of all, we have a very difficult or tough conditioning program, but even you can't replicate game conditioning. So once you get in it, we rotate out people so that we'll stay in shape.
Coach, I want to ask you this question because I've been around it as a coach myself, where you stay on the field too long. 2 hours or an hour and a half, plenty of time to get what you got done if you're organized. Is that right?
You have to have it organized, and you got to be disciplined enough to say, this is what we're going to run, this is how we're going to do, and you get the most out of your players.
Exactly.
And like you said, it's in today's time, they don't have to come out.
Worst thing in the world is for a kid to think practice is over and say, well, we're fixing to go through this down here, and we're going to hit the sled, and then we're going to go up and hit the weights.
Right. Well,
you overdo it, can't you?
By the National Federation of High School Sports, that actually is encouraging us to to do conditioning at a different time.
Yeah.
You know, and that shorten your practice time as well as water breaks.
Yeah.
And we do this. We have water break the entire time. I mean, water's
Down
there.
to a
exactly.
science, isn't it?
And that
and instead of stopping and saying, okay, here's your water.
They used to give Dad a wet rag. They wouldn't.
Well, it was so silly. I mean, a lot of. I hate to say this, a lot of young men have lost their lives over the years because they dehydrated
Yes.
on the field with 105 degree, not allowing them to drink. It's the craziest thing in the world. Did not allow them to drink water the entire practice, and but now they can leave. They can leave a huddle and go get water if they need to.
We have some great doctor friends here in the county, and some of the things that they've given me advice whenever I first started coaching in the heat of August. Said, Coach, whatever you do, make sure they get plenty of water. And in the first several ball games, they need to have water. Don't let them dehydrate, because if you dehydrate, you're looking at 3 weeks
Yeah.
to get back, and even then it could be longer to be back to full 100% athlete. So we make sure that they're getting plenty of water the entire time. And Coach Rigby, a good friend of mine, they practice in the shells.
Coffee.
Shells most of the time, you know,
Yeah.
because especially during those hot parts of it. You get used to your equipment, but you know, there's no need to be foolish and injuring your child or running them away.
And hopefully that's going to be the pattern they're going to go. You know, of course now the biggest change in high school football is a coach can actually, the second week of June, you can actually be on the field with your team.
Right.
I mean, in a way, why have spring practice?
Have
you thought about that?
Yes, sir. Regularly. I mean, when you sit down and look, we have there's 15, maybe 20 days to get 10 days of practice.
Yeah.
And like at Goshen, most of our kids have gone from football to basketball
Exactly.
to baseball. Some have played soccer. And so they're coming right out of one sport to another, and you got 10 days to get them in football shape. And we have to be very careful to how we manage that.
And then once they start in June, you can have 7-on-7, which is a competitive type thing.
Right.
I don't think I would have ever thought I'd say this, but I think they need to do away with spring practice. Because the off-season programs, everybody's got an off-season program.
Right.
And so the physical part of it, the conditioning part of it won't stop.
Right. Yeah. And I can
see my biggest concern is when I get to go to the beach.
Exactly.
Well, guys, girls do play a huge part of that. Now, they would like to go to the beach. They sure do.
At the end of the day, they're just kids.
Yeah. And that's the thing that we need to keep in mind. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we do our best to try to do out there at Goshen is we want the very best out of our kids, the very most out of them. But also we do our best to try to remember, hey, they're kids. And you got 2 months right here during the summer that we're fixing to start. And some get to go on trips, some don't, but we want them to be able to spend that family time, because that's the one thing that we really emphasize is family. Emphasize that our coaches spend that family time, because you don't know when that last moment's going to be.
I'm going to tell you, the way it is, if you don't go on vacation in the next, next couple of weeks after you graduate, you're not going to have time to. I mean, the football is going to take over. Cheerleading's going to take over. Cheerleading's getting to be about as bad as football.
Ours do. We'll start summer workouts. We'll give them the first week off, and we'll give them the week of the 4th of July off, and we kind of allow them to know, the parents know, that we'd like for this to happen these 2 weeks to go. But sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And it's understandable. I mean, it's a game.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Well, I think and I just love your attitude, and hopefully more and more coaches will have that kind of attitude, because the kids, it's so, I mean, we're talking about country boys, we're talking about kids, a lot of them bus into school, they start at 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get on the bus, don't they?
We tell, and there's no excuse, I mean, we still demand the same thing from our guys that everybody else does. But when you look at Goshen, we have one kid that lives in the city limits of Goshen of a population of 250 people.
Yeah.
250 people in the town of Goshen. The next closest athlete is 7 miles away.
Yeah.
7 miles away. You can't walk
right
to get there in time to do that. So The buses is how we get there, and you know, so then you go way on up past Lockheed Martin. For
That's
kids
right.
to
Yeah,
come.
exactly.
And you figure, how does that kid get to a practice when there's school's not in session?
You almost have to practice the last 2 hours of class. You can't do it.
No, sir.
Well, all right. Well, how do
Taking
these kids get home?
We teamwork it. We have kids that can help. We have parents that'll meet us at different places so that we're able to make sure that they're able to get to there and get that opportunity to play a wonderful sport.
Now something very important. You know, these kids, now most of them eat breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Y'all provide breakfast for them. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We actually have a program coming in this year with in the schools in the county that, if I understand it right, that breakfast will be provided for every kid.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Every kid, and lunch will
hot
be provided
breakfast. Is that right?
For every kid. Every kid. Now that means that the way I understood it is every kid goes through the lunch line.
That's great.
And they don't. I think it's a grant that they don't have to pay.
That is wonderful. That is
Anyone
wonderful.
gets to eat.
All right, 3 o'clock though. Most of them are starving to death, and they've got to go hit the field. Do you have any way to feed them at 3
We have
3
a lot
o'clock?
of people that help contribute to us having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
But our guy with the peanut butter shop he is wonderful.
They can't advertise peanut butter any better than what's out there.
Yeah.
That is the best.
And of course he is
the best. I got 2 kids that said that they just didn't like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Just did not like it.
But they like his, don't they?
And they love it.
Yeah.
I have one kid that ate 4 sandwiches.
What's the name of the company?
It's Golden
Boy, yeah.
And
And it all starts at the top. He is supportive of high school athletics.
Does a great job.
And to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before practice, that gives you some energy, doesn't it?
And they get you got a kid that's as active as an athlete, male or female.
Yeah.
They burn up a lot of calories.
Sure.
But you know, a pack of ketchup is considered a vegetable.
Yeah.
And you know, I hate to know. I sometimes watch Married with Children, and Al Bundy gets excited whenever he got a pack of ketchup,
Exactly.
you know, to eat.
But so every day before practice, they at least get peanut butter and jelly sandwich or
Yes,
something
sir.
to give them some energy. Which, ladies and gentlemen, before this now, they're going to the field, going out there to practice. I'm not saying malnourished, but they don't have a lot of energy, you know, because they
portions on that plate for a kid that's very active is just not enough.
Yeah. Now, you know, the Elba coach gave them sardines, you know, and buying the sausages during the school break, but now you do have a break at what, 10 o'clock?
Yes, sir. We have.
All right. Now, do they get food then too?
They have the option to buy break there on campus.
Yeah.
A lot of them bring stuff.
Yeah. And of course, Goshen High School is a great school. You've got a great principal, one of my favorite people.
He's fixing to retire.
Oh, me!
Retiring. I said it's going to be a huge loss right there for us at Goshen, but so excited for him and his wife, Miss Peggy. Great people.
Yeah.
His family's definitely going to benefit because he's going to get to spend time with those grandkids, and what a blessing that is. And you know, everybody deserves that opportunity to get to that. And he's worked extremely hard. I mean, you look at what we have out there. People might question it, but I mean, there's not many 2A programs that have swimming and soccer in a little rural area as we are in Goshen.
And let me tell you another thing that you take for granted is air conditioned. I mean, you can go to that beautiful gym that you've got, and your weight rooms are air conditioned. And I mean, what I'm saying, you know, it's first class.
Dr. Bazell has done a great job. I mean, if you look at the Pike County school system and what is going on with it, I mean, you know, you have to commend what he has done and the leadership that
It's called
he has
vision.
done. And you know, I was talking to him a couple of years ago, and I said, just what made you see that direction? You know, and commend him for it. I mean, because a lot of people were against it. I questioned it because I didn't understand it. But as I sat back and listened to him, wow,
They're doing things that very few school districts in the country
we
are
got
doing.
people flying airplanes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got people leaving high school with 2 years of college credit.
Yeah.
You got kids that are leaving high school already working with a business degree. We got kids that are going to be able to go into nursing. We got kids that are going to go ahead and be able to go into the field of teaching ahead of other students.
That's wonderful.
And I mean, it's just amazing
That's right.
what he and the Pike
And
County
his ideas are being followed now by schools all over the country.
All over the country, you know, right here in little bitty Pike County, Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. No question.
You know, and so he's to be commended.
Well, Coach, give us a rundown quickly now. Goshen softball.
Softball's going to be great. They'll play next Thursday at 12 o'clock out
here in Troy, which will be a wonderful place for you to be, because this is competitive. Some of the best softball pitchers in the country will be here.
That if Coach Warwick was able to have a group to run track, she's got some very fast girls. They can run. I mean, they can really run. So it's hard to hit the ball in the outfield because they can go get it.
That's right.
Don't bobble the ball, because they're not going to stop at first.
Exactly.
You better go ahead and get the ball on over to second, because they're going.
You know something about you, Coach, and I've known you for a long time. I know your daddy, I know your mama and all your relatives, and watched you grow up. But now, during the summers for years, you worked with the rec department. Is that right? So you know most all these kids at Pike too, don't you? And watch them play rec ball. And
that's right. Listen to you talk about Drew Nelson.
Yeah, Drew Nelson. Isn't he unreal?
It is, and you're talking about him being on. But that's what he's done.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody says, you mean that 13-year-old kid is pitching against these 17, 18-year-old guys and striking them out? Well, I think he pitched to 19 batters yesterday. 15.
That's very impressive.
That you're going to normally do. I think
but you
4 over the limit.
I talked to Nick Walker a year ago, and having asked him what it was like playing for Coach Saban, and he says, it's easy, really. He said it's the practices that are hard. He said because the games are easy. He said because we're so well prepared for the game that the games are simple.
Coach, Neil Brown is doing something that I marvel at. He runs his practice. He's in full control of his practice with a mic. He wears a mic to practice, and he tells everybody where to go and what to do.
Right.
And they run to their positions all the time. It's one of the unique coaching things I've seen lately, because the head coach can't be here and here and here and here at the same time. But if he's got the mic, he's in control.
Right. Well, and like we were talking about with the technology of the instant replay, you got technology that you can actually use during practice that you can sit there and say, okay, look, this is what you did wrong.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to use it. So you got your phones. I mean, there's just it's amazing to where we are in this great country. You know, a lot of things that are negative out there toward what's good being done, but I mean, it's amazing. I mean, amazing what we have.
Again, Coach, thank you so much,
sir.
and we'll be watching you closely.
Thank you. Good luck to you. Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Virginia Green Nowling.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town and Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Back to our show, brought to you by Noble Manor and all the great folks on Botts Avenue, and one of the great, ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this show a long time, and of course the Noble Manor for assisted living. I don't know if you can find a better place to stay anywhere in the country than Noble Manor right here on Botts Avenue. Virginia Green Nowling is with us as she is many times, and you sort of make this set look nicer. I don't know, for some reason. But we appreciate all of our sponsors this morning. And Virginia, of course, tell us what's happening on June the 8th.
June the 5th.
5th.
June
All right, thank
5th.
you.
Almost 30 days away is the primary. As y'all know, I'm running for Pike County District Court Judge. I've been practicing law for 23 years. I've served as both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney, and I have extensive experience in both family and juvenile court law. And all of that is a lot of what a district court judge handles. And so we've been out knocking on doors. We want to knock on every door in Pike County. We're trying to recruit some more people to help us do that.
You know, everybody knows who your daddy was, Burton Green, a legendary figure in Troy and Pike County, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, thank you.
One of my heroes, and I know how tough he was. And when I see and watch you talk, you got a lot of that same ingredient. You got to be tough.
Well, he was tough. He really was.
I mean, it's not necessarily for nice. You can't be nice. You got to be correct.
Right.
in your decisions.
Well, my dad was a great father,
Yeah.
and he taught us to be strong women.
Yeah.
And not to, just to try to do what is right.
Yeah, exactly.
And as far as this judgeship that I'm running for, it's something that he and I had talked about many times, and it's something that I feel like God has been leading me to do this, to run for a long time, and finally everything lined up for me to do it. Certainly, we don't know what the outcome's going to be, but I feel like this is God's will for my life, so that's why I'm running. That's why I'm doing it.
And of course, you've got the experience. I mean, you've worked with child care and child protection.
Been an assistant district attorney
of it for a long time, and you've had to make some hard decisions. And of course, when you're dealing with children, it's so delicate, because you don't know, you want them to be with the parents, but if the parents are not worthy of raising that child, you've got to make a decision.
Well, it's really simple.
A very serious
when you're
decision.
right. It's really simple when you're trying to figure out what's in the best interest of the child, and that is, yes, sure, that is for them to be with their biological parents if their biological parents are fit.
Exactly.
And in those kind of situations, child abuse, child neglect.
In a family, you don't want a child to have to grow up around that.
Well, that's true, but DHR will step in, and they set up what they call ISPs, and which is basically a plan for, it's a plan for the parents to sort of rehabilitate themselves to give them the opportunity to get their child back.
Exactly.
And some parents do that. Some parents do that successfully. They get off drugs. They go to anger management classes.
That's right.
And they completely change. But then you have others who are just not able to, unfortunately. And there are a lot of those too. And that's why, like I said, I think before, we need more foster homes in Troy.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading in the paper the other day where a foster child, murdered.
I heard about that. I read that.
The person that was that had brought the child in, and then they're trying to sue the state because of that happening. I just don't know how you can judge somebody, on what he's doing. As a foster child, that person is bringing that child in and raising that child like it was their own. And,
That's right.
and how can you judge somebody when something like that happens?
Well, when you're dealing with situations like that, you kind of have to, what you're getting into when you get into it, and there can be a lot of heartbreak. The foster parents can get attached to the children. Children get attached to the foster parents, and then sometimes you have children that have special problems, that need additional help. And I don't really know all the details about that case, but if you're going to be a foster parent, you kind of have to be ready for anything.
Exactly right. I know it's very serious business, and of course you've had a lot of training and you had a lot of experience in dealing with those cases, quite a bit.
I've been doing it when I came back from being an assistant district attorney. It was Cheryl Harrison was with the district attorney's office, and she was the juvenile court prosecutor, and I was a new attorney in town. And she and I were the only female attorneys back then. But now, luckily, there are more female attorneys now.
And it's sad that that she's not with us anymore. But what an outstanding person she was.
I learned a lot from Cheryl. She was very feisty, and she really was a great prosecutor for the sexual cases against children. Sexual abuse cases.
No question about it.
And she was tough.
Well, of course, the primary is on the 5th of June, which will be here before we know it.
Before we know it, that's right.
And I know that everything's sort of starting to really get going, with different opportunities to speak to groups and so forth. I know you would like to invite or be an invite to groups.
Sure, I'd love to speak.
And to speak to certain groups and let everybody know what your platform is and so forth.
This week, I actually spoke to the Brundage Rotary Club. Now, I didn't speak. Some of these clubs, we can't talk about politics, and that's fine. And I took the opportunity to talk about our Pike County 12th Judicial Circuit Drug Court. And and Judge Barr, who is our drug court judge, he went down there and we spoke. And if you don't know anything, are you familiar with drug court, what that is?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just real simple. It is a specialized court program that we have here in Pike County. There are over 3,000 drug courts nationwide. Ours started in 2011, and what it's designed to do is for those people who are unfortunate enough to get charged with a drug crime or an alcohol crime, they can enter into drug court and keep their record clean. It's kind of like an intensive outpatient program. It's a very rigorous program, but it teaches responsibility and accountability to the individuals.
And you've been involved with it
since 2011,
which is wonderful. And of course,
changed a lot of lives.
Bill Barr is a real good friend of mine, and I
great.
know how conscientious he is about that program. And it gives people in Pike County a second chance.
Exactly, that's exactly what it does. And so we're real proud of it. We've got a graduation coming up on May the 17th. And anybody is really welcome. If anybody's interested in just coming and seeing what drug court's about, you could come and on May the 17th and watch the graduation if you want.
I bet. Have you had a lot of involvement? A lot of people. I mean, I would think that it would be a great opportunity to maybe for somebody to seek a little forgiveness in what has happened and a new life, a new
right. Well,
opportunity.
when people come into drug court, usually their lives are pretty much in shambles, you know.
Yeah.
And they and a lot of them have children who are in the DHR system, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And so the drug court is based on a team. We have a team of that deals with, like I said, the judge, the district attorney, members of the sheriff and police department, representatives from East Central Mental Health, court referral officers, and then drug court attorneys. And I'm one of the drug court attorneys, and Attorney Cliff Hastings is the other drug court attorney. And so we're there in the event because you know, if there's certain requirements that the participants have to do, and some of those, the main one is to stay clean and sober, stay away from places.
Do they have to be a resident of Pike County to go to drug court, or can they come in from anywhere?
They don't have to be necessarily a resident, but their charge has to be from Pike County.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I think this is one of the wonderful programs
really
out
is.
there.
It really is.
Are you finding that given a new lease on life or new opportunity to change the way they've been being? Have you seen a lot of good cases?
We have. It's, you know,
I mean, a lot of results on that. It's really.
And I think that Judge Barr said that according to national standards, you know, a 20% success rate is good.
Yeah.
But we have around a 70% success rate with our drug court program, and you know, we have Bubba Campbell who's involved in it. You know, he has a ministry, and he helps people get in rehabs that maybe they don't have insurance.
Yeah.
And we can send them to inpatient rehabs if they don't have insurance. Mm-hmm. So we're there to help people, but Judge Barr can put them in jail if they you know, for 24 hours.
The thing about Bill Barr, he's retired, but then he came back to keep this going, and you know, it means a lot to him.
We would not have drug court in Pike County, Alabama, if it hadn't been for Judge Bill Barr.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
that is
that's
wonderful.
True.
So Pike County is one of the innovators, is that right?
Well, we're not really an innovator, but he is an innovator.
Yeah,
I guess you'd say Judge Barr is an innovator. He had a vision that we needed this, and you know, and so we're very grateful for him to have helped bring this to Pike County.
Hope you're doing well today, and of course we're taking a look at Pike Liberal Arts' big victory yesterday in Tuscaloosa. What happened in the doubleheader on Wednesday? Pike Liberal lost the first game 5-1, and then came back on some in a fabulous game that was seen on Troy Cable and Facebook and YouTube all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, there was a parent that was watching the game from Washington, D.C., where Quinn Renfro and his son Nate was playing. He was able from his motel room watch the game live on Troy Cable. Can you believe that?
That's great.
And that is the innovative. You're talking about being innovative. That is being very innovative to be able to bring that game out to. I don't know where all of the people came from, but 1,700 viewers on Wednesday night alone watching that game. And then, of course, yesterday for the championship, we keep talking about young Drew Nelson. He pitched a 2-hitter against Tuscaloosa Academy in a 6-0 win. Nate Renfro came in and struck out 2 out of 3 batters to close it out. But what a great effort it was for Pike Liberal, and they're now 32-5, and they'll play for the state championship against Glenwood Christian out of Phoenix City this coming Wednesday at Patterson Field in Montgomery. So we're so excited and happy for those young people, and you know, they came back through the losers bracket and won that game. And gosh, I think Pike got 6 runs off 10 hits and then this very good team from Tuscaloosa, no runs on 2 hits. So a great display of good pitching and good defense. And
good athletes.
And you're right. And this Pike team defensively is one of the best I've seen around. They make very few mistakes, and then they have been able to get good pitching, and from not only from our young man who I think is one of the top young pitchers around, and then of course Jade Sykes pitched a beautiful game in the second game on Wednesday, and then of course Drew Nelson came in and closed that game out for him because the game went 9 innings, a regular 7-inning game, and Nelson shut him out. I think retired 6 out of 7 batters he faced. And then, pretty smart coach, and Coach Alan Ponder, he said, well, he pitched so well tonight, let's throw him tomorrow in the championship game. And sure enough, that young 8th grader pitched amazing. Brilliantly. And of course, they had to take him out in the 6th inning after completing 6 innings because he ran out of innings to pitch. And then Nate Renfro, the fine shortstop, comes in and strikes out 2 out of 3. And the Patriots are, rest of it is history. They win the championship in Tuscaloosa. Now they'll play for the state championship this Wednesday night in Montgomery at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
And of course, we'll be there, and Troy Cable will be there. And again, what great strides this cable TV station has made in bringing athletic events live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Exactly.
You're sitting in your den at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, and you start going through and looking at Facebook and hear this game's going on. And it was an exciting game too.
Right.
And again, Steve Camp and all the great folks here at Troy Cable should be commended for a job well done, no question about it. Well, tell us what's been going. I know you've been busy going to now, like we've got these big events coming to Troy, and it's just amazing how fortunate Troy is to be able to take care of a big convention like this is, and I call it convention. 45 softball teams from across the state are coming to Troy next week. And if that's not a big convention, what is?
Restaurants better stock up.
Exactly.
They better stock up.
And if you're going to go to a restaurant, you better go early.
That's right.
But,
and the traffic, the traffic's going to be bad on 231.
Exactly, no question. And
worse than usual.
I'm sure first thing next week we'll have Dan Smith, who's one of your neighbors.
Yep.
He'll be coming on the scene Monday and give us some logistics and tell us about it. Now, one great thing about Troy, the Sportsplex, they have wonderful food.
They do.
I'll tell you, their hamburgers and hot dogs are as good as you'll find anywhere. So they can feed a lot of these fans and everything. But a lot of these, most all of these folks with a double elimination will be spending the night and spending money.
It's great.
And of course,
it's great for our town.
That money goes into our tax base, and we're able to have good recreation. We're able to have good, clean streets and whatever. And of course, it's just a great place to live, Troy, Alabama.
It is. Yes, it is.
And we're so happy that we can do these things.
They had, and yesterday they had the National Day of Prayer on the square, and when I walked up there, Mayor Reeves was in the gazebo reading from the Bible, and
that's right.
Yeah, and it's not everywhere you can go to find something like that.
That is exactly right.
Celebrate.
When I was leaving the ballpark, you'll get a kick out of this last night, and of course we spent the night because of by splitting the games. We had a game next day, and so I was telling earlier, I went to the original Greenland.
Right.
Where they got their start with ribs and light bread, and of course now you can get potato salad and beans and slaw or whatever.
Right.
But I had a great lunch, and then I drove around Tuscaloosa, and of course, it's getting to be a huge town.
Mm-hmm.
But after the game, I was pulling out, and I said, my good friend Rusty Gibson lives right over there, right down the road from the Indian Springs Country Club there in Tuscaloosa, beautiful place. And I knocked on the door, and here comes Rusty Gibson to the door. And of course, we grew up together right here in Troy, and of course, he was your neighbor in what we call Gibsonville.
Gibson Hill.
Gibson Hill,
Yeah.
And of course, right there on the Shellhorn Road.
That's right.
And Rusty grew up there, and the whole Gibson clan lived in those hills. And but he's now a very successful attorney in Tuscaloosa, and of course, has been also a very successful business person in real estate and so forth. But his wife is just as nice and charming. But to say, normally I would have probably just headed on home, But I said, I need to go see. I just felt like I need to go see him. And his response to me was the same response I had to him. We hugged each other's neck and said, man, I am so glad to see you. Well, that's a part of Rusty's life that I've never been a part of, was to see how he lives. And his sister lives there now too, and she was raised on Gibson Hill. And,
that's right.
And but Charlotte, who we're talking about, and but we went over old times and talked about old ball games, and his wife sat there and so diligently listening, and it was right there on the golf course, and all these golfers were going by, and beautiful home, and of course, a lot of success.
A special visit
for him.
Good.
But it's just like the Bible says, love your neighbor.
Right.
Be kind to one another. Be conscious of your family and your friends.
Right.
And that was a little meeting that the Lord, I really believe, sent me in that direction, because he was excited and I was excited about us being
Y'all were
together.
Blessed by that visit. That's
but
great.
I could have very easy, just taken a left and gone home and got back at a decent time. But I hung around and spent some quality time. And even though it was 11 o'clock when I got home last night, I'll say this: I thought about my visit with my good friend Rusty Gibson. Was so much worth the driving later on that night. But
that's wonderful. Again,
we take things for granted so much, especially friends and loved ones, and neighbors. The Bible, if you read the New Testament, it talks about loving your neighbor as yourself, and it's so important that I really believe if this country was like that, would forgive their people that have mistreated them, and love their neighbor, I think we'd be a better place to live.
Amen.
And then of course, you green girls, Burton down the road, everybody, Burton was everybody's hero growing up, at least us boys,
Well.
Yeah, he was one of those hard-nosed guys,
As tough as he, of a reputation, I guess, that he has, he could also be just as gentle as he could be.
Yeah. Well, something about him that I'll always remember more than anything was his smile.
Yeah.
He wasn't a guy that walked around with lips poked out. I mean, he was a happy person.
Yeah.
A happy person.
He was.
And of
very
course,
positive. Yeah.
And then a lot of his knowledge helped build Troy Cable.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very involved in the development of Troy Cable into one of the largest cable television networks in the country, right here in Troy, Alabama.
Yeah. We sure do miss him.
No question about it. And of course, everybody that knew him missed him. And
oh no.
I gotta say this. I hope I don't embarrass you.
Oh goodness.
But I thought about this yesterday. you know, you know, this pollen has been getting everybody down and everything. And I had a roll of toilet tissue to blow my nose. And I thought about Burton, what he told you one time. Don't ever go anywhere unless you got a...
You got to have a roll of toilet paper in your vehicle at all times.
You never can tell. And I don't care what anybody says. That is true in all directions.
A can of Vienna sausages, a roll of toilet paper, and some hoop cheese if you can.
But it's the truth. I mean, that's an item that you just don't know when you might need it. And
he was ready for anything.
I remember Burton saying that and all that. But you know, something about him was his positive attitude. He was always real positive, and he had a lot of vision. You know, he could see things. You know, I thought he was a great business person, and
thank you.
and did a lot for our community. And again, you know, when you come on the air and you girls, how beautiful all of you are. And Sally and Emily and Virginia, those sisters, and that beautiful mama.
Yes.
Hey, you don't happen without that beautiful mama, does it?
I do have a beautiful mother, but I look just like my dad, so so there you go.
No question about it. And of course, we hope you've enjoyed our show today. And Virginia, always welcome on this show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you very much.
I always enjoy it.
And hope that you enjoyed our show, and you can see it again at 1:30 right here on your Channel 2 dial. And again, have a great weekend. It's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
And we'll see you Monday morning bright and early for Today in L.A.